to teach you the lesson again. You go and look at the lesson on Khan Academy. If you have any questions, we'll answer it the next day. And this is just one man, how he has been able to transform and change. And we can do things like that. We have the means. I mean, or if we think about it, in this room, I have looked and I have studied the profiles of most of you. And I know the type of talent which you have. But that talent to me is not being used in a way in which you're perhaps contributing the best, that you can do far more with what you have, both at an individual level and at a collective level. And if we begin to do so, just thinking about it, and being persistent. If you want to do something, you have to be persistent. It's not just, just a flash in the pans thinking that you want to get something done. We can do things. So as you are here for the next 4 days, inshallah, what I would hope is that apart from us just talking about things and trying to learn more about each other and learn more about our deen, but also start thinking about ideas, sharing ideas of things that you can do to become activists in our community. To become activists, and in so doing, inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be able to find the way and the means for you to get things done. So I'm going to leave it here, inshallah. There's much more to be said, but these are some of the skill modules that we've been working on when we conceptualized the program. We've done quite a bit of it, and we will be doing some more of those skill modules. And the idea is that when we conceptualize this program, we're not just thinking about us here, but what can we learn from our experience so that we can make it better for our next group? What can we learn from our experience so that we can bring the age group down? At the moment, we said we started off with 18 to 30. Can we bring it down to 14 to 17? Can we bring it down even further to 11 to 14? They need to be empowered as much as we need to be empowered. And now this is where you fit in. But to be able to do all of those things, we need people like ourselves to be able to take the initiative. The more you can think about not just about what you're doing and about your career and everything else, but think about how you can use what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you to be able to serve and help someone else. And the more you do so, the more Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you, inshallah. And these are some of the conceptual modules there is a lot that we will do over the course of the 5 days. It will not be everything. But what our focus is not just simply on giving you facts and figures. There are many books I can recommend to you that will cover in great detail all of the things that we will be studying. And that is not the idea, to simply be able to deliver information to you. But it's about allowing you the opportunity to become critical in your thinking. If somebody says something, we want you to stand up and say, look, I don't understand, or I don't agree with this, or maybe I think in a different way. And that is what we want. To be able to go beyond the person who is delivering the message and think about the message itself rather than simply think about the messenger. Because we are facing a crisis, and you've seen part of the crisis which is taking place with some of our scholars who many of you, I'm sure, have been proud of. And what has become of them when they fall prey to materialism or to problems in their personal life. And when these things happen, sometimes people and followers get disillusioned to the point that they equate their disillusionment with their faith. So if my mentor, my scholar, if he has done this type of thing with women or with whatever it is, then, I mean, what type of Islam is this, I have put all my trust, I have learned everything from him, and all of a sudden he's done these things. But then you need to go beyond, and it is difficult to take. This is where you go beyond what of who the messenger is and think about what was the message. And very few people think like this. They simply look at the messenger rather than the message. So when you think about, well, I need to learn something, the first question people ask is not, what is the subject which is being taught? Is it something which I consider to be one of my priorities? How is this knowledge going to be able I can utilize for doing something which I want to do? But we simply say, well, look, who is the speaker? Oh, he's this one. What are his titles? Ah, those are the titles. It may well be that we're using those for purposes of authenticity or what have you. But very often it's not about the message or about the talk, but it's about the messenger. And we come back and said, oh, that was a fantastic talk. Well, you know, I can boast that I was in the company of this great scholar who I sat with. Not realizing that at the end of it, it's about the message more than about the messenger. Even with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as much as there was uswatun hasana, but the Sahaba understood that it was about the message, and none understood more that it was about the message than that of Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu an. That when the Rasul of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam died, when the Muslim community was in a state of disarray, to the point where some people were questioning what was, you know, is Islam going to hold itself together as a community? Abu Bakr as-Siddiq was there to stand up and bear that point that it's about the message. The messenger is dead, but the message is alive. And that is what we need to be able to uphold, inshallah. And that is going to hold us. So if we can become people like that, inshallah. So with this, I'm going to stop now and ask, are there any questions on this before I hand over to Brother Hassan, inshallah, so we continue. Yeah.
I think I've left the laptop on as well.